Okay, we are live. Yay! All right, I'm so excited to be here today. This is, for those of you who have been paying attention and watching, we are halfway through our 12 days of giving. So that is where we have a new deal every single day. They are on our products sometimes, our digital products. Sometimes they are on our partners that we partner with or have offered up some special deals for us to feature as well. So today is day 7 of the 12 days of giving. And we are, my child is already coming in here. Go ask daddy. This is very real. We're recording this live and it is the day before Thanksgiving. So everybody is home in this household. So today is day 7. We have a special deal with Relay that we're putting out today, which Relay is a business banking platform. It's actually the business banking platform that I use and I love. And we're going to show you a little bit of what it looks like inside today. So I have a special guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hello. Hey, Jamie. Thank you so much for having me on today during your 12 days of giveaways. Hey, everybody watching. My name is Deanna, and I'm a product specialist here at Relay. And I'm here to give you the goods, to show you exactly what Relay looks like inside the platform, what you might experience as a business owner. And I believe you can also ask questions along the way. So this is your time to, get really into Relay with us. And I'm happy to be here to show everything.
Yep. And so drum roll, please. Well, I just put it up, so no drum roll. But today's deal with Relay is the best one I've ever seen them give. And it's $150 if you open your free account today. So again, the 12 days of giving expires at 7 p.m. Pacific tonight. So you have essentially 12-ish hours from right now when we're recording this to jump in on this. And you're going to get $150 for opening a free account. So as long as you fund it with at least $100 by January 15th of next year, right? Not super hard. That's a free $150. I don't know about you, Deanna. I really like free money.
You know what? I haven't heard many complaints about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really a bad thing at all ever. So really excited for this deal. But really what I wanted to do here today is give you a behind the scenes look of Relay. So some of you who've been around for a while, I've talked about this, but I think actually being able to jump in and see it with somebody who is an expert is key. So Deanna's going to give you a little tutorial of what it looks like inside and give you some ideas for things that you might be able to do with Relay. I know, sometimes switching banks doesn't sound like a fun thing, but when you can see what this can do, maybe that might be different than the current business bank you're using, or maybe you're looking to open another one, then I want you to have Relay top of mind for this. So we're going to jump on in. If you want a tutorial for us.
I absolutely would love to. So I'm going to share my screen for everybody, and feel free to, comment in the chat, ask questions along the way. And Jamie, we will definitely address, bank switching and what that looks like at Relay, because we've tried to make it as easy as possible for you. So we'll dive into the tour, and just put any questions that everybody has in the chat. But for anybody that has never heard of Relay before, we are an online banking platform for businesses. So we don't have any physical locations. You do everything virtually with us. So essentially you can bank from anywhere. And we work with, all different types of industries on Relay, and all of our core services are free. So whether it is opening your checking and savings accounts, making basic payments, connecting to your accounting software, FDIC insurance, that's all just basics that come with a Relay account, which is pretty exciting. Now,
there are no really one thing too that I've noticed is like sometimes they're like, oh, it's free, but right. There's like a catch. There's a bunch of different things that pop up all the time. And for me, for the things that I do, I haven't had any kind of, there's no crazy minimum that all of a sudden, no, you didn't hit your minimum and now we're going to charge you. And you're like, what are all these bank charges? You got to love like the random bank charges and trying to figure out exactly why and what you did wrong. So I have not experienced that at all with Relay, which is great.
And then calling into the bank to say, what was I charged for? And it's like this big mission that you're going on. And you're like, eventually they want you to give up, right? And you probably do.
Yeah. And people do.
Yeah,
I
people do. Yes. And to talk about fees on Relay, like I just mentioned, the basics are free. There are only 2 things that we charge for on Relay. And a lot of businesses might not even use these features. So you can absolutely get away with free banking on Relay. We charge for outgoing wires, $5 domestically, $10 internationally, or we have an accounts payable subscription that you can upgrade to. I'll talk about that a little later. It's $30 monthly. But if you don't upgrade to the Pro and you don't wire for your business, it is completely free to bank with us, which has obviously been your experience so far, Jamie. Now, I know that, Jamie, you do a lot of profit planning and coaching with your community. So a lot of people do come to Relay for that type of cash flow method as well. Some of you may follow the profit first method. We work well with anything of that sort. If you want to use buckets or that kind of thing, any business that comes onto Relay, you can have up to 20 different checking accounts. So if your goal is to get away from that one lump sum, which is a crazy way to try to run your business, right? You have no idea what money's coming in or out, what you can expect, what money you actually have to make financial decisions. So the best way is to start separating that. And that might look very different for many different businesses. The point on Relay is you can open additional bank accounts whenever you want. You put in a name. Maybe this is going to be my new equipment fund, my fun fund, or maybe a tax account. You can make it checking or savings. Select who else in the business, if anybody, does need access, and you create that account immediately. So once you're approved on Relay, you as a business owner are in the driver's seat here, and you can really customize it to how you want to run your business. And the word customize is not often thrown around with the word banking. So it's kind of a foreign concept, but it's really, really cool. And these accounts are individual, so they don't all bucket into one fund. You can see we have individual account numbers here. They will show as such in your accounting software. And as Jamie mentioned, there is no minimum balances for these or monthly account fees. So if you want to zero some out, you absolutely can. Now, with the multiple accounts, that means you probably want to transfer funds in between these accounts. And we've got two different really great ways to do this on Relay. We have a manual way to move funds between the accounts. And what's really nice about this is if you're adhering to a certain cash flow method, or you're really trying to understand where money is going in your business, being able to come in and manually transfer funds kind of helps you build that muscle as a business owner. And so you can transfer funds to multiple accounts at the same time, either by dollar amount or by percentage. So if you've made a goal for 2025 that 15% of all of your income or deposits is going to the tax account, you can easily math that out here in the transfers. No need for an Excel sheet on the side, which is pretty cool.
As much as I love Excel, not everyone does. So
exactly. It's not everybody's love language. Let's just say that. Now, obviously that's the manual option. We do have a version that is automated, which is pretty exciting. And most people kind of think like, there's no way you could get me excited about banking, but just watch. So if you have certain targeted percentages you want to move around your business or certain savings goals, you can actually plug these transfers into your bank account and have them run in the background for you, which is pretty great. So if you decide that on every single Monday, you're going to totally zero out your main income account, which you can do because we have no minimum balances. And then by percentage, you can send funds around to the separate accounts here, all designed in, what goals you have for your business or what you're really saving towards. But this is kind of set it and forget it, run it in the background. And if your goals change over time or you want to work with different percentages, you can come in and edit this. Again, it's customizable to how you want to start moving funds around in your business or what you're working towards. So you've got the manual option, you've got the automated version. It is totally choose your own adventure, but it's very customizable for your business.
Yeah. And the customizable part is one of the things that I love about it. Because I like to get into my numbers. I have my Money Mondays where I sit down and do kind of all of it because it helps me stay on top of what's happening. Mm-hmm. But I also know a lot of business owners that I teach are like, I don't want to be worried about it. And I just want to be able to look in my bank account and see how much I have to spend for various things, see how much I can take out, right? Mm-hmm. So if you use either Profit First or My Profit Planning, this is a great tool to just keep it running in the background and you don't have to worry about it. And then if you're ever wondering, like, can I afford something? You just log in, check that specific account, and then if you can or not, right? Which is so much easier than the hemming and the hawing that we're typically dealing with.
Yeah. And I'm sure, Jamie, your experience with a lot of business owners is they get into business for what they're passionate about, the service they're providing, the goods that they're selling, not necessarily the financial aspect. So needing to roll out a bucket method or a different cash flow method it's a great way to make steps forward in your business, but it's not going to be everything that you do. So the ability to come in here and just quickly look exactly what's going on, see what transfers you have coming up. It's kind of like you're re-educating yourself on your own business. So it's a pretty great option there.
Definitely.
Now, I did mention, or I think Jamie mentioned this in the intro, but a lot of you might already have business bank accounts. It doesn't necessarily mean your business bank is supporting you the way that you want to, or is necessarily working how it should. Relay does connect to 100% of US banks. So it is easy to connect directly to your bank. It is free to transfer funds in and out of Relay, and typically takes 1 to 2 business days. So if you want to add Relay on to your existing banking relationship or make a complete switchover, we're very friendly with other banking platforms. So when you are working on your transition time, or you just want to have another banking relationship to support your business, it's a very, very easy thing to do, to connect the two and work with them moving forward, which is pretty nice. Now, we do have card options, of course. We have debit cards and we have new credit cards that just launched in September. The debit cards are really great for businesses that have employees, especially for expense management. So you as the owner can create new debit cards whenever you want. They can be virtual, they can be physical. And what's great about these cards is you can tie them to individuals in your business. So you will see directly on your bank feed who's making all these transactions and where they're tying back to. But you can also tie them to specific business accounts as well, your checking accounts. So if you have all of your operating expenses coming out of one spot, that's great. Or to make it even safer, you can have a separate checking account, and that can be the only one that the employees have access to. So it's very separate. They can only access what's in that checking account. And again, you know where all the transactions are coming from. But of course, you can set individual limits on the cards, turn off or on ATM withdrawals, and newly, you can actually set vendor and category controls. So if you wanted to create just a gas card for somebody and block all other transactions, you definitely could. Now, if handing over a physical card to someone makes you a little hesitant, don't worry. Again, you are still in the driver's seat here at Relay, so you can terminate the card, freeze the card, change the PIN. So no worries about never getting that back. You're still in control and can make changes, create new cards on the fly.
I think this is one of the things I saw about Relay that I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know to look for this in business banking, but the spend controls when you have a team, and just the idea of like being able to have these virtual cards and they have access to this and you can really easily handle all the permissions. It's so much better. I know for a really long time, I had to buy everything for my team, right?
Yep.
Like it was me. And so they had to come through me. And now it's much easier for my team to be able to make those purchases on their own. I still have full control and view of everything. But I don't have to be the one doing all that admin work. So if that's you, like this is a great way to do it, but do it in a really controlled way where you still feel like you're not just giving away, the farm.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, Jamie, it's like one of two situations. You either have to do all the purchasing or you're running your card around and sharing it with the rest of your employees, right? And that's equally as challenging for different reasons. So yeah, let them have a little bit of independence, but you're still in control here, which is important. And I did mention that we launched a credit card in September. So it's a very new feature for Relay. It functions very, very similar to the debit card here, but it gives you that extension of that extra cash that you might need throughout the month. So the charge card, in order to be eligible for it, you have to be in business for a year. You cannot be a sole proprietor. You have to make $240K annually in revenue. Okay. If you meet all of those requirements, you will see a prompt on your Relay screen to apply for the credit card, which is exciting. Now, the credit card is structured a little bit differently, and I'd actually love to hear your thoughts on this, Jamie. But it is tied directly to your Relay checking account, so it's automatically paid off at the end of every billing cycle. So on day 31, that payment comes directly out of your checking account. You can't actually carry a balance on it month to month. And the reason that we did that is because we have a lot of businesses that come to Relay for cash flow management, whether it's profit first, profit planning, whatever you're really into, and the ability to kind of stop you from going into debt every month and just work with what you've got in your business was a method that we really connected to at Relay. And so we thought like, hey, why not roll out a card for this as well?
I actually did not know that that's how that worked. And I love that. Like, I think I am not an anti-credit card person, but I am an anti-carrying a balance on a credit card.
100%.
Because a lot of people don't understand the way that credit card interest is calculated is not what we think it is. I once had the one time I didn't pay the full balance. I paid, all but $100. I think I had a $12,000 balance. I paid all but $100. I didn't realize that, that I had to it was just one of those like, oh shoot, don't have quite enough. Like I'll pay,
Right.
I had to transfer money around to pay the whole thing. I had $100 that was outstanding for one day on my credit card, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, how much could the interest really be? They
Right.
charged me $180 in interest for
Oh my
$100
gosh.
because they charge you for the full, your normal average balance of the entire 30 days.
Right.
And they are charging you for 30 days worth of that. So you lose your grace period if even like a dime is unpaid. And so at that point, I was like, carrying a balance on my credit card is a no-go, right? Yeah. We have got to pay them off every single month because otherwise it is just a mess. So I love that feature. That's amazing. Are there points? Do you get points or any reward?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
So we're doing cashback rewards. It's a 1.5% on all transactions on the card, and there's no annual fee. Again, we've kind of the theme of this has been like you're in the driver's seat, and it's free banking, free credit card as well.
Amazing. Okay, I love that.
Yeah. Exactly. And something also that's pretty cool about either of the card features, this works with debit or credit, is the ability to do receipt capture on these. So it really makes this like a full expense management platform, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And the idea here is you can set up so that I want every single transaction from the card to have a receipt. And because Relay is the banking platform behind the card, as soon as a person makes an in-person purchase, they can get a text message immediately reminding them to upload their receipt in Relay. That'll tag to the receipt here, and eventually will make its way over to your accounting software as well. So receipt capture is a very habitual thing. If you either use it or you don't use it, we'd like to think that we've got the best shot of you using it because we can get that text message to you immediately. But it's another really great feature, especially if you've got more than one person in your business making purchases.
And I'll link down below this video. I did a video this year that talks entirely about the receipt capture function and gives you like more behind the scenes of that. But I do love that, especially, I do think we need to be capturing our receipts somewhere, whether it's within our banking platform or within our accounting software. They need to be somewhere. It's going to make it so much easier on you. This is one of those, like, people typically learn this lesson the hard way.
Oh, yes.
The IRS comes knocking and you're like, oh, shoot, how do I substantiate these? So I very much recommend having receipts, but even more than that, also documenting why it's a business purpose. Because just having a receipt from Target does not mean that it's deductible. Okay. So
exactly.
We're also going to have to write a note or something that will show you, yes, this is a deductible expense. And I see there is a place here for notes.
Yes.
Use for that.
Exactly. So connecting the dots there for you. Yeah. And I think that's what's nice about this is, a lot of business owners, just like the credit card example, you have to learn sometimes the hard way. But what's great about Relay is we're trying to build everything in one platform. So you don't have to use multiple different things and think, oh my God, I got to get another program for this. We want to be a one-stop shop for your business. And so that's adding in these additional features is definitely, we're on the road to do that. Now, one or two last things I'd want to mention on Relay. We do basic payments for free on Relay, which is pretty great. That means that you can make next day ACH payments for free on Relay. You can also make check payments for free. We will print and mail checks on your behalf. Let's say you are working with an independent contractor, you want to pay by ACH. When you're adding them as a payee inside of Relay here, you can actually request that they fill out all of their own banking information, but you can also require a W-9 form from them. And if you have been through this once, then you know the pain that can come in the new year. And if you have given any payment without requiring that W-9, you are going to be chasing quite a few people. So being able to do that directly in the feed here is a pretty nice feature.
Yeah, that's great.
And then, so that's like the basic version of payments. We do have a Relay Pro subscription. It's great for businesses that have a lot of outgoing payments or want an approval set up in their payments here. So Relay Pro is $30 monthly. How it differs from what I just showed you is it allows you unlimited same-day ACH payments and unlimited wires. So if you are a business that wires frequently for different reasons within the business, it's pretty great to do $30 for unlimited wires. But it also allows you to set up approvals on your payments. So if you've hired a CFO or a bookkeeper to help you with that, that's something that you might want. Again, totally depends on the needs of your business. You can use the basic version for free or upgrade to the Pro, or try both and cancel your trial at any time. Point is, you've got some options here, which is pretty cool.
Love that. Yeah. And wires are normally like 10 or 20 bucks to send a wire anyway. So unlimited for 30 is not bad, especially if that's a normal part of your business.
Exactly. And some banks will physically make you come in to send wires too. So lots of things to think about there if you're a frequent wirer.
Here's it.
Yes. And then one last thing I'd mention here, just before I talk about bank switching, is you've got the ability to collaborate with anybody you want on Relay, whether it's business partners, a business manager, any employee. You can invite whoever you want to your account via email. You are in charge of their access level. You can change this, remove this at any time. Same thing with any outside advisor. So a bookkeeper, an auditor, CPA, you can give anybody access under their own set of credentials and 2FA. So you're not sharing your personal password to give anybody access, which is pretty great.
And y'all, I share passwords sometimes. I will admit there's like my social media platforms and things like that. Like sometimes it happens.
Yep.
Never share your password for your bank. Okay. Just as much as you trust somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I even have a separate password for my own husband. So love him, but have your own passwords for your bank.
I appreciate your honesty there, Jamie. And you know what? It's unfortunate that most people have to kind of go through that, right? If you're signing on a bookkeeper, they might have to ask for your personal password in order to get the job done. And whether you choose to do it or not, it really depends on the business bank that you're with. Yeah. But if you work with something like Relay, you don't even have to make that choice. It's not even a conversation. Everybody gets their own login.
Yeah.
Now, one last thing before I'll stop my screen share here, but I wanted to talk about our bank switching checklist. So when you look at Relay through the quick demo I just did, it's very obvious that it's a very intuitive platform. It's super easy to use, and it probably supports you in ways that your local business bank probably doesn't right now. But now you're thinking, what about the transition process? If I do want to move over to Relay, how can that be as pain-free as possible? Well, we've tried to think of everything here, and what we have is a bank switching checklist. So once you're approved on Relay, it's going to show you all the different things that you can do. It's going to help you create all of your accounts, send ACH information to the people you need to get paid by, create debit cards, all that jazz. But it's also going to prompt you to link to your external bank account. So whatever local relationship you have, it's going to have you connect there. And the reason for that is A, so you can start funding your Relay account, but B, so we can provide you a recurring payments checklist here. So any of the auto payments you have coming in or out of your other bank account, we will give you a list of. So you just have something to start working off of. So you know, okay, I need to sign into Stripe, update my info to my Relay bank account, to Gusto, to Uber, and you have something to work off of in the future for when you make that full transition. So it's not yet going to switch over all the information for you. Hopefully we have that in a future version, but it's going to help you definitely get there, which is pretty great.
I love this. I will say I have a funny story I need to add on this. So if you scroll down to the switching recurring payments.
Yes.
So I went through this process and it was telling me all these recurring payments that I had. I sent this to Zooey, of my rep, because I was laughing hysterically. After I panicked for a minute, I was laughing hysterically. One of the recurring payments it was showing was a payment from OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, wait, what? So I started going through all of my, bank accounts and everything. I'm like, what is this? And I matched the dollar amounts, and it was just a transfer to my regular Bank of America personal checking account.
Yeah.
But for some reason had come through as OnlyFans. And for a second I was like, does my husband have like a hidden OnlyFans that I don't know?
Oh my gosh.
And then I was like, well, it's making some good money, so maybe I'm not mad at it. But I was dying laughing. And so we were trying to figure out what was going on. I have no idea like why that happened on the back end. Somebody was probably playing a practical joke, but every time I see this screen, it makes me think of it and I laugh a little bit. So
what a nice memory to have.
I was a little let down when I realized that we didn't have an extra source of income that I wasn't aware of.
Well, technology doesn't work 100% of the time. Probably the dollar amount was right and just not the vendor.
Exactly. When it doesn't work, like at least it's kind of, you get something to laugh about. So.
Oh, exactly. That's so funny.
That's awesome. Look, thank you so much for this. I'm going to ask a couple of questions that I have, and then somebody had a question in the chat. I'll put it up here just to see if you have any thoughts on this. I know sometimes this might be like a customer service thing, but if you have any, somebody said they were struggling to do international transfers with the Relay card. Any thoughts on that?
Do we mean international payments? I'm wondering here. because usually an international transfer, the only way you do that in Relay would be doing an international wire to or from the account. If you're you should be able to make international purchases with the Relay debit card. They're all partnered by Visa, so they essentially work as a debit Visa. If you have not reached out to our support team yet, I would highly recommend it. Their email is support@relayfi.com. And if you want to send them some screenshots or examples that you're getting of error messages, they'll be able to investigate it ASAP.
And they have a great support. I think that's another thing that is so important. I think, so many people have had negative experiences with different banking relationships that they've had. And so I've been so happy with the responses that I've gotten. And I've heard the same thing from other people that have switched to Relay. They've been really happy. Okay, I had a question. So going back to the credit card. So you said we can't carry a balance on a credit card. What if you don't have enough money in your account to pay the credit card, or can that not happen?
Great question. So we do have a 4-day grace period. So, the 31st of the billing cycle comes up, it's supposed to be auto paid. You would be notified if there is not enough funds in the account. Okay. You've got a 4-day grace period to be able to make that payment. And so whether that's waiting for a deposit to income, transferring funds from your local bank, then you'd be able to go in and make that manual payment. After the 4-day grace period, you'd get charged 3% of the balance on the card. But if you end up never paying it, then obviously we'd have to, cut the card. Probably there would be implications on the account as well. But you can make a manual payment whenever you want as well. So I know, especially if you're doing different cash flow methods, you might want to pay the card off more than once a month, and you can easily do that as well. Like maybe that's part of Jamie's Money Mondays as she goes and pays off the Relay credit card, but you can do that too.
Yeah. I use all that float. I do not pay off early. I applaud those who do.
Yeah, exactly.
I applaud those who do. Well, that's amazing. I mean, I'll say from my experience, and I'll just, one of the things, I was looking for a bank, like a banking platform like this 6 years ago. I scoured the entirety of the World Wide Web to try to find something where I could do this. And I could find it for personal accounts, but I could not find something for business accounts. And I really wondered, I was like, this would be so beneficial for a business, specifically when we're talking about, even if it's just business savings, right? You can, there's an option for business savings that makes interest in Relay, which is amazing. Or for saving for taxes, right? Like that's the most obvious thing, to have this separate bucket that we don't dip into because it's for taxes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it. And so I used various different things, and Relay finally came across my screen, and I was like, this is it. This is the thing that we have needed and been asking for. Business owners have wanted for so long. The amount of business owners that have jerry-rigged their own system by
it's very creative out there.
Like cobbling together personal budgeting apps and things like that to try to make this work. Y'all, this solution does it all, and then more that I didn't even think to want. And now I'm like, oh, how did we not have this?
Yeah.
Right. It's such a great solution for managing your business. I talk so much about managing your finances, right? Like, we need to make this easier. And that is clear. And these solutions that exist today that did not exist 6 years ago, or at least not that, anyone knew about, right? Are making it so much easier to manage your finances and your cash flow. So I'm just such a fan of everything that Relay does. I've loved partnering. It's been, I guess a year now, I think, a little over a year since I started partnering with Relay. And it has been probably one of the best partnerships I've had. So I just appreciate everything that y'all do.
We love you back, Jamie.
Well, and like I said, this is one of those solutions. I tend to hear about it if I recommend something and people are not happy. They tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I want them to tell me, because I want to recommend things that people love and are getting, great service with. And I hear nothing but praise when it comes to Relay. And that says a lot, right? People don't reach out to me with their, frustrating stories. And so that means to me that they're not happening. People are happy. They are loving the solution. So I'm just really appreciative that something like this exists now.
Yeah. And I think for anybody curious about Relay or feeling hesitant about using something that's a virtual platform, why Relay is different is we're actually what's considered a neobank. And that means we're a tech company built on top of a partner bank. Our partner bank is a real bank. They're called Thread Bank, located in Tennessee. That's how we have banking capability. That's how we have FDIC insurance. But the screen that you saw is really the tech company. So it's a tech company building the features that you want or things that make your life easier and building something that's intuitive. And so that's really the big difference, is because it's people that are used to building products like this built for small business owners, not just a bank that is, hey, now we got to be online, right?
Yeah.
So there's a very, very different experience. And I suggest definitely giving it a shot if it's something you're curious about.
And I love that. I think that's a really good distinction, because sometimes people get confused, or they might not trust. They're like, wait a second, so they're not a bank. They're, that's why we always try to use the words banking platform or something like that, because it is the tech side. You guys handle everything that goes on top of it, right? Like all of the user interface, all of the things we just talked about. That's a tech company. Don't give that job to a bank to build.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're not going to get what you want.
No, a bank has one thing that they are good at, and that is holding on to your money and keeping it safe. That's what you want, right? But then we want the features that make it easy to manage. That's where, a company like Relay can come in and really partner with these FDIC insured banks and make it really easy and seamless. And that has been like a great marriage. We see it all the time. Like, this is becoming more and more common to have these kind of fintech companies. And I'm grateful for it, because I am very much a practical, like, I drive a Honda Odyssey, y'all, like practicality, right? Like, I need all the cup holders. Like, I want all the features. That is my jam. And so I feel like that's what you bring to the banking world. Okay, hang on. This is great. We had another question. Do you have to have an EIN or LLC to open an account? I'm starting a travel business and I was wondering.
Great question. So Relay does also work with sole proprietors. So if you don't have an LLC yet, you don't need one. You can register as a sole proprietor with your SSN. But if you do end up becoming an LLC, a corporation, we can absolutely work with you as well.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the other thing that I love too. And it's easy to work with too if you have multiple companies. So they are separate accounts, but it's really easy to switch between them. And it's really easy to transfer between them. So like, I sometimes, I have kind of payment agreements between my two different companies, and it can get a little complicated, but it's so easy with Relay. It's like touch of a button and it's in the other account for the other company. So that's the other thing. It's great. You can set up all of these accounts within one company, but if you have multiple companies, it's also a great solution too. So people ask me that. There are some other banking solutions that are harder to have multiple companies, but with Relay, that has been really easy to do. All right, everyone. So just to remind you, okay, today's deal is the best deal I've ever seen Relay offer. And it's $150 free money for signing up for a free Relay account. You don't need to do the upgraded account, anything like that. This is signing up for a free account as long as you fund it by January 15th, right? With $100 or more, you're going to get $150 deposited into that account. I mean, but you got to use this link. And it expires tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're going to do it, now is the time to go do your application. It takes what? How long would you say?
Oh, less than 10 minutes?
Yeah. It's easy peasy. Go do it right now. Go get your coffee. Go fill out your form right now as you're watching this, and get that $150. So my typical deal is $50. So if you missed it today, if you're watching this on replay, you can still get $50. That's okay. That's a good deal still free money. But 150 is more than 50. I'm an accountant. I know.
And I have never seen a deal like this come out of Relay. So Jamie has some real pull over here. Let me tell you.
I do my best for my people. I'm very persuasive that way. All right. Well, thank you so much, Deanna, for joining us. This was so great. We are going to keep this posted for anybody who wants to see a tutorial. We're going to share this around. But I really appreciate you being here today on the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. Everybody take advantage of the sign up deal. And if you get stuck or have questions, email our support team ASAP. We want to help you take advantage of this. So let's get you onboarded today.
Absolutely. Same. And if you have trouble too on our side for anything, support@balancedcfo.com. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.